Hey guys, welcome back to JR14. Here I am with another video for you guys today of the full review of the 2009 Volkswagen Jetta SEL trim. Before we get started with today's video, I want to give a special shout out to Cherry Hill Volkswagen in Cherry Hill, New Jersey for allowing me to review this vehicle for you guys today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the 2019 Volkswagen Jetta. So besides the Volkswagen Golf, the Volkswagen Jetta is actually one of the top selling vehicles in the Volkswagen lineup. So you know, for 2019, they actually had to come hard with good standard features, great build quality, and of course safety. But obviously the Jetta has been known for being the best first car, the best reliable car, as well as just a perfect commuter car that's a sedan. So what's new for 2019? So as you can see, it's a full redesign from front nose to rear back of bumper of the car. So the great thing about Volkswagen is that they have all of them are sharing this new platform called the MQB platform. So you do have the Tiguan, you do have the Golf, you have the Atlas, and you have a bunch of other vehicles on this platform as well. And as well as a new addition to that family would be the would be the 2019 Jetta. So during this review today, I'm going to review the exterior, the interior, and give you a personal drive and give you my own personal review of the 2019 Volkswagen Jetta. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the review. So one of the major new features of the Jetta is actually the headlight design. So a couple things I'm going to mention in the front here. So as you can see, there are full LED headlights. There is an LED strip that goes around here, as you can see here, it's pretty much like a sea light that goes on top of it. This is your daytime running light, as well as you have LED low beams as well. So the good thing about these headlights, they are actually adjustable. So once they start up, they do their little dance, and then actually when you're driving on the road, they actually pivot around corners, so it's easy for you to see around of a corner in the nighttime. Also, as you can notice here, there are no fog lights. So the S, the SE, the SEL don't come with fog lights on these vehicles. If you want to get fog lights, you would have to actually get the R-Line. So now the R-Line's a little cheaper than this vehicle. It doesn't come with some of the standard features of this vehicle in this specific trim level of the SEL. But if you do want to get fog lights and a more aggressive front fascia and rear bumper, and wheels as well, upgraded wheels as well, then you would actually have to go with the R-Line. So one of the things I wanted to point out on the front bumper or the front end of this vehicle is the emblem. As you can see, normally the VW would actually protrude away, and you can actually feel it. You can actually feel like it will actually protrude out, and it'll be just a plastic. It'll just be a plastic emblem. However, on this vehicle, it's completely flat. And this is because this car has radar sensors in the actual emblem. So this means you do have radar guided cruise control, adaptive braking, as well as, if someone's coming to a stop, this car will, obviously assist with that. Another great thing about this is that, you do have that radar guided cruise control. So, you can set a certain distance away from the car in front of you. And if it slows down, you slow down. If it speeds up, you speed up. So, typically mostly cars have this, but the older Jetta, that actually the 2018 model that actually just, actually this was just replaced by it, didn't have these features offered. So on the SEL trim, you will get this stuff as standard. Now, what my favorite part about the new 2019 Jetta is the rear. As you can see, it doesn't look like any previous Jetta or Golf or any other type of Volkswagen language of any other type of vehicle. This is brand new from Volkswagen as far as the design elements. Nothing is shared from the previous car. The main reason why I like the rear of this vehicle, because it reminds me somewhat of Audi. A couple of things, like for instance, the taillights, the way they're shaped, and there's also the way this ducktail spoiler comes out of it's protruded into the trunk. It's actually molded into the trunk. Kind of reminds me of the B8 S4, I mean the B8 A4 and S4 line. You know, actually just kind of reminds me of that. So it's kind of cool to see some design language from Audi incorporated into Volkswagen. And we all know Volkswagen's owned by Audi, so you'll definitely see some Audi traits in Volkswagen, which is fantastic because, you know, Audi's considered the higher luxury brand compared to Volkswagen, but Volkswagen owns Audi and a bunch of other brands anyway. So also on this SEL trim, you will get standard, you will actually get 16-inch Rama alloy wheels. So as you can see, they have this pretty cool design here, as well as a little bit of black and as well as a little bit of brushed aluminum on the face of the wheel as well. So now we're in the interior of the 2019 Volkswagen Jetta SEL trim. And when I tell you they completely redesigned this interior, I can't stress it enough. They definitely redesigned this interior completely. This doesn't share anything from the previous model at all. So one thing I want to start with is this gauge cluster. And that's the first thing that I want to start with the vehicle. So the gauge cluster on an SEL, you get what is called a virtual cockpit. And what that basically is, instead of the gauges and the needles, and you get the little LCD in the middle that tells you your trip information, that's completely wiped away. It is 100% a screen in front of you. So it displays your normal information such as the gear that you're in or fuel economy, but it gives you a lot of other information as well. How efficient are you driving? Or, you know, the radar guided cruise control information, and you'll see that more once we're driving. But definitely that's pretty cool. And now they got rid of the 8 to 7-inch screen that was in the previous models of the Jetta and the Golf, and now they actually went with a full 8-inch screen. So you get the 8-inch screen with the SEL model as well. And when I say that this thing's pretty cool, you definitely have a lot of different things going on here. So the cool thing I like about this display, it's bigger, it's sharper, it's nicer to look at, but everything remains, pretty much most of the things are the same. If you've had a previous Volkswagen with the interface from 2015, 16, 17, you're gonna be very familiar with this screen. So you do have, the great thing about this as well is you can opt for navigation if you do want it. However, you probably won't even need it because you do have Apple CarPlay. So that's another great feature of this as well, and Android Auto as well. Another great thing about this is, like I was saying, it's a beautiful interior. And when I mean that, I stress enough, when I get in interiors, I really look for the quality of the interior. So we do have soft touches on this. Look how soft this is. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's incredibly soft, and it follows throughout the entire dashboard. Of course, you get this new trim as well that goes across the new, obviously the new dashboard layout. And cool things that I like about it, this is dope. Like, you do have in the SEL as well, you will have dual zone climate control in this vehicle. You know, you do have, you know, if your passenger wants to be at 65 degrees and you want to be at 72 degrees, you can do so in an SEL. It will come standard with dual zone climate control. And also you do have an electric parking brake, so ripping those e-brakes in the olden days, those are gone. Most of these companies now are actually moving to electronic e-brakes anyway. So, you know, and then you have a place to put your phone, and you have a USB port here. This is strictly for, it charges your phone, but it actually activates the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto. Now, there is another one that's actually in the center console here, but this is only strictly for charging your phone. Instead, we talk about the center console, I'm going to talk about storage. There's a lot of it in this car. There's a place to put your phone, decent sized cup holders. If you wanted to put your phone in this little slot right here, you can if you wanted to. Also the door cards, so you could fit a decent sized water bottle as well as other knickknacks that you want to put in here. The glove compartment, you do have a very big glove compartment here as well. And also in the other doors, you do have the same amount of space in each door, not just the front ones. You do have space in the passenger rear doors as well. And you know, this is fantastic, and it feels roomy in here. I don't feel claustrophobic. I don't feel it's a small car, and this is a compact, economical sedan. Like, this is something that's supposed to be on the smallest of their lineup, and it got extremely big, and this is not a bad thing. So for this price point, you can actually get a decent sized car. Another great thing that I like about this interior, not even just the interior, of what it comes standard on an SEL trim, and that is Beats audio. So obviously Volkswagen did this to attract the younger enthusiast, and as we can see, they, you know, a lot of young kids today like to listen to Beat products or have Beat products, especially their headphones. So they incorporated a contract with Beats to implement into the car. And obviously, unfortunately, I cannot play music for you because, you know, copyright infringement, but I could definitely say the speaker quality in this vehicle is absolutely epic. Great thing that I love about this vehicle, as far as what's offered with this trim level, is the sunroof. When I say that there's nothing like a good sunroof that makes you feel like you're in a quality interior, to my eyes anyway, it's definitely this car. And when I can definitely say that, it's wide. It's not the little normal cutout that they have. It's an actually pretty much a halfway all glass roof. From the top, it looks like it's all glass, or halfway back anyway. And it's wide, and it's wide. And, you know, you get a lot of light inside the cabin, which makes it feel more of a high quality interior. Not to say that it's not, but it definitely is. You know, you do have your, like I said, you do have your steering wheel, which is actually full leather, and you do have even here's the thing about this, even the center where the airbag is deployed feels soft to the touch. It's not a hard plastic. So, you know, now we're gonna definitely talk about the cargo space inside the back and in the trunk. Another thing I want to talk about is the rear space. So as you can see, I'm sitting comfortably in the back of the car. I can actually move this seat a little further back. This is my driving position in the passenger seat here, and definitely, like when I tell you, there's so much space back here. I can actually lounge. The way that the seat sits on the feels on the bottom here is perfect for my bottom of the legs. And also it's pretty cool because I have a lot of headroom. I'm 5'11". I have a lot of headroom available for me. And you know, if I wanted to, you know, sit up, I can. It seats 5. There is a hump in the middle, so someone will have to put their legs in between in regards of one on one side and one on the other. But it can seat 5 comfortably, you know, and this is really nice. And the good thing about this is that I really like this window, just for the fact that, you know, if I'm back here and this was closed off, it'll feel a little claustrophobic because the roof line starts to come down here. However, there's a bright, wide open window that I'll be able to see out of, as well as it'll make it feel more airy in the back. And this is also due to the driver as well, when it comes down to, you know, making sure that you have a lot of room for your blind, a lot of visibility for your blind spots and around you. And that's another thing that I like about this vehicle as well. So now when we talk about trunk space in the new Jetta, we actually have a lot of space in here. So this is all my camera equipment and stuff here to shoot this video for you guys today. And also, but this is about 14.1 cubic feet of space in this vehicle, which is awesome. And you know, this is a lot of space for a compact entry-level sedan in the lineup. Volkswagen didn't just change the body and the interior for 2019, they also gave it a new powertrain for 2019. So here the Jetta has a new 1.4 liter turbocharged dual overhead cam motor, 4-cylinder engine. It produces 147 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. Now that might not sound much, and it's low based on the numbers, but however, it's the way this car delivers power, and it's that torque is what you're really looking for. That's what the turbocharger enables. That's what the turbocharger is there for the torque. And that torque, that 184 pound-feet of torque, comes on at a very low 1400 RPMs. So when you're driving this car around the city and you're driving it around town, you're not gonna feel like this car is slow. You're gonna feel it's pretty peppy. You know, without further ado, guys, we're gonna go ahead, and since we're talking about motors, we're gonna go ahead and get inside this car. We're gonna go ahead and drive it. All right, so now we're gonna take a ride in the 2019 Volkswagen Jetta SEL trim. So the first thing I can definitely tell you already is that it's extremely quiet in here. The cabin's really nice. There's not really a lot of road noise when it comes to this vehicle. Not a lot at all. This is okay. So it's, you know, like it's nothing to be excited about in regards of, you know, like this is gonna wow you. And I mean, even that, I think it does kind of wow me a little bit, you know, just for the fact that, I mean, as far as suspension and the car's supposed to be quiet, the car's supposed to be comfortable, you know, that's the type of vehicle that this is for the mass market. So, when you look at a vehicle that's for the mass market, and especially newer buyers that are either getting into the new brand or either new to the new loyalty to the Volkswagen brand, or people who've had Jettas for years that are coming back, they're gonna feel at home when it comes to this vehicle. You know, it's definitely a nice, you know, definitely a nice feel, nice interior space. You know, I like the quality, like I specified before. I love the quality of the interior, and it's really, when you're driving it and getting, you know, when you're driving the car and you're really getting, you know, hands-on, it all makes sense, and everything is where it's supposed to be. Like, you know, the climate controls down here, the gear shifts here, you know, the radio and the controls. Even though this is a completely virtual display that's absolutely different, you know, it's there, and I kind of know about it. Like, I know where it's supposed to be. I love the fact that these digital gauges, though, you know, you could do a lot. I've noticed there's a lot of cars that put a lot of information on here, and it doesn't look clear, but this actually does look really good. I like the way that it looks. I like the way that it displays the information and the way it brings information to me. You know, it tells me what I need to know, not everything, but if I want to look at different things, I can do that. I can simply just change the mode, and I can look at different things at my leisure. Let's talk about fuel economy for a moment. So now, like I said, it's a 4-cylinder dual overhead cam turbo motor. It makes, like I said before, it makes 147 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. But the thing about it is that when you're driving this car around town, like, again, you don't feel it. Now, again, obviously it feels a little dull now because I'm in eco mode. So eco mode actually hunts the higher gears, and tries to get the best fuel economy possible. But there's a mode button down here that if you press it and you change it from, you could have normal, which actually makes it more like a comfort mode, and then if you put it in sport, this actually wakes up the car. So there we go. This is pretty peppy around corners. Like, it's around town, it's a pretty peppy car. When I'm driving it around, it's definitely there. Like, you know, the power is definitely there. I'm not, you know, in this platform anyway, I'm not wishing for more. It's perfect setup for this car. And fuel economy is 30 in the city and 40 on the highway, with a combined fuel economy of 34 miles to the gallon. But I mean, this interior is dope. You know, the car is definitely surprised me. I'm gonna say I'm not a Jetta fan. I have a Golf and I'm not biased, but this is a really nice car. And for $25,585, I think that's what the MSRP sticker price on this car is, as you see it, this exact vehicle today. It's not a bad value. This thing doesn't even come like near 30, which is, even at 30,000, I think this would be decent for a price at 30,000, but for 25, I think it's a steal, especially with all this equipment that you get in here. So they have it all brand new 8-speed automatic in this car. You can get a manual in the base models. I believe in the S and possibly the SE. I could be wrong about that, but I know the S for sure. If you wanted a manual transmission, you can get one. I don't believe that they're offered in the higher trim levels. You know, which is fine. Like I said, this would not be the car that I would get a manual in. This would be the car the majority, I would say 90 to 95 of the consumers that are buying this vehicle are going to purchase the automatic. And the automatic is an actual torque converter automatic, 8-speed automatic, and I like it. It definitely doesn't, you know, feel sluggish in any way. It doesn't feel like it's, you know, not capable. Definitely capable. And, you know, I definitely think that this is a good, you know, good transmission for the build, for the car. Another thing that I noticed about the car is that the visibility that I have around me. There is a lot of windows. All these windows are wide, and they're bringing more light in. I'm not wanting more light. I'm not looking to see, like, I'm really struggling to look at the car in my blind spot. It's definitely not worth it. And speaking of blind spot, this car also does have blind spot detection. So again, you know, if someone's in your blind spot, these little lights on the mirrors will illuminate to let you know that there is a car in your blind spot. Also, if a car is approaching you at a much higher speed than you, it will still light up in advance to let you know that there's an oncoming car approaching. I'm actually gonna just kick it up a notch a little bit. So the feeling of the suspension. Now, when you get into it, obviously this is not your sports inspired, this is not your GTI, this is not your Golf R. However, you do have a differential in this car, and it actually does distribute the power around the corners nicely. I mean, like really for performance handling, it doesn't handle bad for what this car actually is. And one thing I want to talk about power. This is a perfect example. I have a lot of traffic. I have a window of opportunity here. Oh yeah. And I'm like I said, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but just enough power to where I need to accelerate onto a road. It's perfectly there. Like the power's there. I don't need more. And actually spun the tires a little bit, which is interesting. This is the actual #1 selling car in Volkswagen today. This 2019 Jetta is all that they sell. The salesman, one of a good buddy of mine named Kyle, he actually, shout out to you, Kyle. He actually was telling me, he's like, we can't keep them in the dealers. A lot of people acquire this vehicle either before they come in, or they ask, is it available before they come in, and their lease is coming up. They act, you know, a lot of people want this vehicle and inquire this vehicle, and I can see why. You know, it's definitely that type of car where you can get a lot for your money, and this will be a nice car to keep. Actually, you know, you can lease this and trade it in 3 years. But if I needed a daily driver just to get me to and from work with some comforts, and just to have a nice daily drive, this is definitely the car. And, you know, I definitely, you know, I obviously always appreciate Volkswagen for even, you know, because they listen to their customers, and, you know, the customers wanted a bigger car and they wanted more features. Think about the older Jetta, you would have to get some of the newer, different models to get features that the Jetta would never offer, even at a higher trim level. But hey, you get it now, which is awesome. One of the things I really do appreciate about this vehicle is simplicity. You don't get simplicity with cars anymore. The more advanced the car gets, the more complicated the car becomes. Computers for the ECU, traction control, all this other stuff. And then you have the features. You have lane depart assist, front collision warning, blind spot assist, radar guided cruise control, all this different stuff. You know, it makes a car more complicated. And, you know, but the thing I like about this is that I can activate everything. I know where everything is. I'm not struggling to look at where everything is, and it's simple. And that's what Volkswagen really does best. They do simple platforms that offer you a lot. So there you have it. You have a car, an entry-level economy sedan that's German, reliable, great fuel economy, as well as pretty much just everything. It pretty much has a lot of features for this platform. MSRP for this vehicle is around $25,500, and this vehicle is for sale. It's brand new. It's available at Cherry Hill Volkswagen. I'll put the link in the description below where you can check out this vehicle and as well as the rest of their inventory. But this is going to conclude the review of the 2019 Volkswagen Jetta SEL trim. I hope you guys did like this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Please share it with everybody, and I need you to do 3 things for JR14. Like, share, and subscribe. I hope you guys have a great day, and remember, cars are a lifestyle.